because it's at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that we take care of these kids, because that is a primary role that we have. So I'm just gonna ask guys to listen. Hello, welcome home, Princess. Come on in and sit wherever you would like. We welcome you, and thank you for coming. So we're just gonna have a word of prayer now, and then Brother Jamie's gonna share with you guys. All right, let's pray. Father, in the name of Christ, I just say thank you for these amazing students. And God, I just thank you for their willingness to serve. And I just praise you, God, for their gifts. I thank you so much for their talents. I thank you so much for their abilities that are not mine. And God, some of them, we might even have the same gifts. But God, they are so unique to your kingdom and so unique to the success of this camp next week. So I just praise you for each one of them. I pray, God, that they will come ready to attack every day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, because these truly are the best times ever to serve you, oh God. And God, we just love you, we praise you. Help us surrender to you every day, and help us come ready to share the greatest message in the world by washing and wiping feet for your glory, and their good, and our good. We praise you for these things in Jesus' name. Everybody said?
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Brother James.
Alrighty.
All right.
Taylor, can you get those pens up? Is that all right? Everybody's going to get 2 copies of this. This is just what they call youth protection goals and expectations. And actually, it's most of the camps we do on a national level are, and y'all get 2 copies each actually. So everybody gets 2 copies. So the camps we do on a national level mainly are working with teenagers. So a lot of this you'll think that doesn't make sense working with kids, but we'll go over it real quick anyway, just so you'll know. It's common sense, most of it. They give you 10. There you go. Where y'all from? Huntsville? Douglas. All right. All right. So anyway, this is some things to look at. This we're working with kids, and if you watch the news, if you read the newspaper, you see a lot of stories about kids and stuff that maybe went on at a school, at a camp, and so we have to protect ourselves. We have to make sure that we're above reproach, and that we make these camps as safe as possible. And also protect yourself. I mean, we live in a day and age where maybe things can get misunderstood. And so my policy for me personally is I don't want anybody to really question what that was. What was I trying to do? I want to be, I'd rather be on the complete other end of things. So you got to be careful. You just got to be careful, and that's kind of what this is. First of all, I would say this. I tell everybody this when we have these meetings. If y'all have something on social media right now that is embarrassing or maybe would be viewed as inappropriate, maybe if they envision an 8-year-old girl, let me tell you who my huddle leader was. Let's look her up, and whoa, what is that picture? What are they doing in that picture? Then a mom and a daughter are having to sit there and have a discussion about what that picture was about. It'd be a good time to maybe take it off. Just remove that picture. Guys, so just think about those things. Maybe some things you think are innocent, and there was everything in that picture. There was nothing wrong with me in that picture. I mean, but the setting and the surrounding may not show that. So that's just stuff that I would just kind of be conscientious of. Y'all just kind of maybe think about that. That's just a little tidbit. It's not even on here, but it's mainly just being on guard. And there's numerous things here. What you're going to have to do in just a second, you're going to have to sign both of these sheets of paper. You're going to keep one, and we'll take one. And if you work our other camps, you're actually going to have to do this online. So this is just for this upcoming camp. But anyway, we'll just kind of go over this real quick and kind of tell you a little bit about it. It goes on. It talks about basically your language, and how you talk. It talks about how you carry yourself, how you handle discipline. You guys are not here to handle discipline in the sense of we got to sit Billy out or we got to sit Susie out. You're definitely not here to spank any kids, all right? So if you're kind of, man, that kid needs a spanking. I mean, you're not here to do any of that, all right? So if there's issues with kids, that's what this camp staff is here to help you with. We've had to take a kid out of a huddle and say, you gotta go in this huddle because you're not good with this group and your friend is in here. So we will take that role. So don't feel like you have to be the hero and save the day. We'll handle that stuff that maybe is kind of challenging to handle. Generally, we don't have a ton of issues, but we do have issues from time to time. So we just want to be ready for those things. It talks about some of these guidelines. It talks about athletic events. We're gonna do afternoon competitions, and you guys as a huddle leader, we got Huddle 5. You're not trying to win the national championship, you know, all right, and you're, hey, we're gonna get this, I mean, we're gonna handle this one then. I mean, so we've gotta be the mature ones here. I've got 3 boys, they're 18, 16, and 10. Joking around with my 18-year-old, he might take it another level. Joking around with my 16-year-old, he might take it 2 or 3 more levels. Joking around with my 10-year-old, he'll take it 5 or 6 more levels. You know, it's just, the younger they are, the more it's like, oh, let me do this, let me tell you this, and my little 10-year-old, I mean, he'll one up, like, oh, dude, stop, you know, I can quit saying that. I mean, I say something jokingly, and it turns, I mean, he just takes it to another place, and I'm just like, man. So when we're competing, if I really get into something like that, these kids are gonna get into it a ton more than you. You sit there and argue a call, man, you set the tone. You've gotta be the mature one, I guess, when it comes to athletic stuff, which we're gonna have. Individual counseling, you're not here to be Dr. Phil, all right? I've been in full-time ministry for 23 years, and I'm not a licensed counselor. So I can't sit there and tell you, hey, let's meet together, and I'll tell you kind of how you can fix your life. Now, I can come meet with you, I can pray with you. I'm not a counselor. I'm not trained to be a counselor. I'm a minister. I mean, I went to school for ministry, but I'm not a trained counselor, so I doubt any of you guys are, because you got to have your master's to be a counselor. So if you're not a counselor, then don't be the hero. You might have issues that come up that are way beyond you. Now, you can handle Bobby share with Billy, you know, you can handle that. But I'm talking about like issues that are very deep, maybe. It says don't set up long-term counseling. Hey, after camp's over, we're gonna meet once a week for the next 5. No, you're not gonna do that. I mean, this camp ends and go get them, Bobby. That was great, you know. So you're there to just be with them for that time. It talks about no informal contact. Hey, after camp, you wanna go meet, you know, we'll go hang out and go maybe get a slushie after camp. You're not gonna do that with these kids. So you're not into that. It goes on to talk about no overnight activities. Hey, no sleepovers. So you're not going to invite anybody for a sleepover. Transportation, this is something important. In the event that there's some reason where we have to drive, if you have a car, you're not driving anybody other than yourself. So definitely not going to drive a kid. Because like we do, for instance, if we're at this camp over here, and volleyball is at another school, Goldsmith. Golf is over here, and we do have buses. But let's just say you were late, or some reason you had to stay, and you're going to drive your car to volleyball. You're not going to take Sally with you, so just know that there's never going to be a need for you to drive any kids around. Confidentiality. This is a big one, and this is one I dealt with when I was right out of college. If somebody shares something with you, and it is like a crime, like, I can't believe what that person did to them. It is not going to stay in this room. It's not going to stay at this little conversation at the table. You can tell me what is going on. First of all, just word of advice. I don't want to know too much. Like, I'm not trying to get all this stuff out of these kids. Come on, man. Tell me your deepest issues you're dealing with. You're not there you're not the counselor. You're there to love and support them. But in the event that they have something they tell you, and particularly if it's something that is a crime, you are obligated to not hold on to that. I'm not saying you go around and tell us. This is not something you keep with yourself. And we've had issues. We've had to deal with this, I know 1 or 2 times. But I had to deal with this. There was an issue where a kid came to me while I was a youth pastor, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I had to tell somebody, and they said, we need to call Child Protective Services. That afternoon, that kid was removed from their home. It was that serious. So, I mean, that's kind of stuff that you just can't hold on to. When you hold on to something, you are basically breaking the law. So just so you'll know that. Gifts, don't bring special gifts unless you're bringing it for all of them. So you don't bring Bobby and my boy, here you go, man. And everybody's looking around. What about mine? You know, you're not here to bring special gifts to anybody, and unless you're bringing it to the whole huddle. No physical contact, high fives, you know, that's cool. No corporal punishment, that's spanking, so you know that, don't spank. Don't date any of these kids, no dating. It says no dating, so no dating of any kids, which, again, like I said, this is usually a youth group thing. I mean, this is usually for high school kids. Supervision, youth and parents, there's some guidelines. It just talks about stuff that just, you know, having a good testimony. But bottom line, just this really is just about you and I just being wise, and that you're gonna by the end of the week you are the heroes. It is not going to be the guy that spoke for one time, 10 minutes. It is exciting to hear that 10-minute talk, but you're with them, so you're going to have the most influence.
What does it mean by position?
What number?
It's at the bottom.
Oh, position, you can just put huddle leader.
Okay.
Yeah, just put that. That's it. All right. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to turn it over to Brother...
So as I said, my name is Russ. I am on full-time staff with FCA, and I will be kind of your point of contact at camp. Me and Taylor, Coach Pam, Riley, Connor as well. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, hey Taylor, will you pass out those Bibles to me now, please? Let's see. There you go. And Abigail, you're not working out of camp, right?
No.
Okay. But are you working out of camp?
I don't know, can.
Okay. What's your name?
Abby.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk after if
Okay.
you wanna work out.
When next week?
That's next week.
I have a recital for dance. So
Okay. It's okay. I just was making sure for who all was like signed up for which camp.
Yeah, I'm going to Abigail, so.
Okay. So let's see. So that necessarily, y'all will do that online. So really, like, but when you do it online, you won't have to like go through it the way we just did. So
Okay.
you should be good.
So you want
but-
the other one back?
We can go ahead and take them, since we already
Okay.
signed them, just in
Yeah.
case we can have a paper copy, so, I'll go ahead and take those.
Supposed to keep one or give them both to you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to sign them both and keep one.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so, the sheet that I just gave you, huddle leader expectations. I'm gonna try and be somewhat brief, but these are important, so, this is, again, I mean, as Brother Jamie was saying, they're gonna think of you as the hero of the camp. It's not gonna be one person that speaks for 10 minutes one morning, but it is you make the camp for these campers. And so these things are very important, so please pay attention. If you have any questions at any time, please ask us. We can answer any questions you got. So, first, everybody got one of these, right? We're good to go? All right. So first, be camper focused at all times. It is all about the camper, not about you. Like Brother Jamie said, you know, during competition or sport time, it's not about you showing them why you think you are the best basketball player of all time or best cheerleader of all time. You can do 17 backflips in a row, like that's awesome. But it's not about you, okay? This is about serving campers. It's about making this the best experience for them because, you know, like Coach Ken also mentioned, this is their Disney World for some kids. This is the thing for them that they look forward to the most every summer. And so we want to make it all that we can possibly. Oh, there we go. Coach Ken bringing in.
Excuse me for PTI, pardon the interruption. Felt like somebody needed a caffeine rush.
So yeah, coach, focus on the campers at all times. Take advantage to form relationships during sport instruction time. There will be a lot of downtime. Well, not a lot, but there are definitely moments where, you know, a kid may be getting in his reps, but everyone else in the huddle is sitting there waiting. And that is a perfect time for you to just build that relationship. Again, that's not a time for you to show out and show them why you are the best athlete of all time. That is a time for you to really be focused on investing in those campers and encouraging them. That's the next one. During competition, encourage. That's what we're there to do. And don't just encourage the ones that are really good athletes, that are doing good every time. Yes, encourage them, but also even the ones who struggle a little bit. Some of these kids that come to camp, they're not the most athletic people in the world. They may never catch a football that's thrown at them all day. But encourage them, because we want them to enjoy that time and not feel like they're being ignored, especially by you. It's one thing, you know, kids are going to be kids, and you know, they're the rest of their huddle may ignore them, but they need to know that you're there for them regardless. You're there encouraging them. You're there for them. And then also safety first. So as we think about campers, safety comes first at all times. You see something happen, someone gets hurt. If that means you have to stop the whole competition time to go and check on that kid, then that's what needs to be done. But always safety first. And you know, if something happens with a camper and you've got your huddle, and we never want to leave our huddle at any time unless you've notified somebody. So you got to communicate. So, you know, say you've got a camper that just got hurt. Well, then you've got to tell Chelsea's huddle, say, hey, will you watch my huddle real quick? I've got to go take care of this camper, get them to the trainer. They got hurt. But just communicate. Never just leave your huddle. But safety is always first. Always be on time. That comes for, you know, in camp when we're going to different activities, then being on time for that, but also being on time in the morning. Being there early, because as most of you probably play sports, even if not wherever you do, you know, you may have heard early on time is late and early is on time, right? So we always just make time we always say 15 minutes early. That gives you time in case, you know, there's traffic on the way, or there's a wreck, or you forgot something at home, you gotta turn around and go get it. Just give yourself 15 minutes of time to be there early. And so please be respectful of that. And if you are gonna be late, just let us know. Just text, you know, one of us, whoever is your overseer for that camp. Just let them know, say, hey, Russ, I'm gonna be 5 minutes late. I forgot this at home, or whatever it was. I overslept. Whatever it is, please just let us know if you are gonna be late. Respect authority and each other. Use yes sir, yes ma'am, all that stuff with your authority. And use my pleasure when someone tells you thank you, like Chick-fil-A, right? Everybody's eating Chick-fil-A, they say my pleasure, right? Same way. So it is our pleasure to serve them, and I hope that it is, you're excited to serve these campers, and that's why you're doing it. So please just let them know. And then when it comes to respecting each other, obviously, so y'all are volunteers. We have interns that have gone through a week and a half of training with us before. And if you ever feel disrespected by one of those interns, or even one of us, if you feel like you're being treated like less than what these interns are, or they're treating you less than themselves, please let us know, because that is one thing that we are very big on. Is y'all are just as important as those interns are at these camps. And some of you will be leading huddles by yourselves. You know, most guys, I know for Albertville camp right now, we have one guy per huddle. Sometimes we have assistants, so if we get more, then you'll have someone to kind of walk alongside you. And when you're new, we'll definitely help you in the beginning of the week, so you get in the flow of things. So don't like freak out and think, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, I can't lead a huddle by myself. Like, don't worry, we'll walk with you. But don't ever let one of those interns or one of us disrespect you. So that is definitely a big focus that we have, is for you to be valued just as much as those interns. Communicate with leaders. Again, if you're gonna be late, let us know, whoever it is. Briley Jones will be kind of over the girls, and I am over the guys. And so please just let us know if you're gonna be late, like I said. And then or it could be Connor, any summer staff, honestly, you can just let them know, but just make sure it gets to me or Bradley. Ask questions. If you have a question, please ask, but also know the right time to ask a question, right? In the camp season, there are a lot of crazy things going on, so many moving parts. It's not always the best time to ask a question, okay? Sometimes we just need you to go and do what we're asking you to do without question, and then later you can come back and say, hey, you know, if you still have a question about what was going on or whatever it is, by all means, please come ask us. But you know, you think about sports again. I play basketball, and so if my coach is drawing up a play with 5 seconds left, and it's the end of a timeout, he just draws up a play. It wouldn't make sense for me to be like, coach, what about that one play we started practicing in like November? What do you think about that one, right? That's not the right time to ask that question, right? But if it's in practice and we're going over late game situations, then I'm sure my coach is going to be much more open to me having a question about it, right? It's the same situation. Like, there's a right time to ask a question, and then there's a wrong time. And so please, even if it seems like whoever it is kind of like being strict with you and just saying, hey, go do what I'm telling you to do. We're not trying to be mean, but we just, like, there are things that need to be done when we ask you to do it at times. So please don't be offended if we do that. But if you do have questions, please ask. And if it's a stressful moment, we'll tell you, hey, please just go do it. I'll explain it later. Keep up a flexible and positive attitude. There will be things that change. There will be campers that, you know, they don't show up one day, or, you know, sometimes even huddle leaders, they don't show up, and we may have to put some campers in your huddle that weren't there before. Don't like lose your mind that we're doing that. Like, please be flexible, and know that there's so many moving parts and that things may change. So just keep a flexible, positive attitude. It says selfless service, chicken minis. Okay, so what that means basically is, think about you're going to Chick-fil-A, right? You're going to order some chicken minis, and you order those chicken minis, and then the person in the drive-thru is like, you know, I just had a really rough morning. I woke up late. My sister and we got in a fight, and she just starts going on, and the whole time, you know, you may care, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're just like, can I just get my chicken minis? You know, like you're just there to order those chicken minis. Same way with these campers, like they don't want to hear you coming in the mornings and be like, man, it was a long night last night, and I stayed up with my friends too long, and you know, I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood. Like, they don't care. You just are there to serve them. You're not there to explain all your problems and why you got in a fight with your girlfriend or whatever it is. Okay, they just want to have a good time at camp. So that's the chicken mini selfless service thing. So snack when campers snack, not on your own. Pretty self-explanatory. There will be times when they snack. You're welcome to snack with them, but don't just like whip out a bag of Cheez-Its and start eating it in front of them, because then they're going to want all the Cheez-Its, and then when they see it, then every other huddle at camp is going to want it, and it just causes a big issue. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Presents, Brother Jamie mentioned, if you bring one to one camper, you have to bring it to the rest, which is cool to do. A lot of people do that. Sometimes they'll do like bandanas, so you can like kind of recognize all your campers, and they think that that's like the best thing in the world. So like if you want to do something like that, by all means, go for it. But if you do it for one, do it for everybody. Discipline, Jamie mentioned this too. It's not your role to discipline the campers, partly because we don't want them to see you as the bad guy. You know, like if one of your campers is having an issue, I'm much more okay with them thinking that I'm this mean old guy that's, you know, just being terrible to them. And then they still think that you're the most awesome person in the world. But if you have to come down hard on them, then that may affect them for the rest of camp. So I'm fine with being the bad guy if I have to, so that camp experience is still good. But also, you know, just come to us if you have an issue. Like Brother Jamie said, if it's something small where you're just like, hey guys, don't do that, or if they're kind of going after each other and you just have to separate them, say, hey, you sit over here, that's fine. But we're not like, hey, give me 10 push-ups, or if you do it again, it's 20, you know, like something like that, we're not doing. And don't yell at your kids. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, just don't yell at them. Interns, y'all are good. Oh, well, some of this applies to you. Be able to receive constructive criticism. If we say something to you, we've been doing camp for a long time, we've seen things, and if we say something to you, please don't take it personal, just understand, we're just trying to help you and help these campers. So just be able to be coachable. As your coach may tell you that, hey, you did this wrong, next time you run this play, do it this way. That's all it is. We're just trying to give you constructive criticism. Do what you're told without question, kind of already addressed that. And then use discernment when it's appropriate to joke and to be serious. There are times where, and we encourage you to joke around with your kids, like don't just be super serious. Like when we do the dances that we do it with like go crazy. Even if you don't know it, like just watch other people and just like go nuts. Because if you do it, then the kids will do it. But if you're just standing over there, just like, oh, I don't like to dance, then your kids are just gonna stand there, and it's just not very fun. So, but be smart as to when to joke around, when to be serious, because when we're presenting the gospel to these kids and we're sharing the bridge, which we'll go over in a second, that's probably not the time. That's definitely not the time to joke, because that's a very serious moment. That is the most important part about the camp, is when we get to share the gospel with them in the afternoon. So just be smart about that. No guy-girl relationships. Ken and Angie rule. You met Ken earlier. His wife is Angie. She works with us. If you're at camp, you would never know that they're married. So it's the same way if you're dating somebody that is another volunteer or is an intern, sweet. But we don't need to see it at camp. We don't need y'all to, be talking to each other when your kids are out there and, you got Johnny's running around with his shirt off, like going crazy. You're just like talking to your girlfriends, what you want to do tonight? Whatever it is. So we don't want to see that. If y'all are dating, awesome. But we don't want to see it. That's no purple, guys blue, girls red or pink, whichever one. I don't really care. We just don't want to see that. All right, clear on that. No cell phones unless it is a 911 or to contact Huddle leader coordinator. Some of you may have the responsibility. Most of the time it's going to be interns, but you may be given the responsibility of like, hey, you're in charge of role at tennis. So please let us know when you get to tennis that you have all your campers, and you'll text us. Then after you have that, put your phone away. Again, we are camper focused. We're not on our phones texting people. And that's one thing, be able to be coachable, because if someone sees you with your phone out, we're supposed to hold each other accountable and say, hey, we don't do that, put your phone away. So don't get all offended that they're telling you to put your phone away, because that's what we're supposed to do. Okay? All right, back page. OSGs, opportunities for spiritual growth. Basically, these are things that happen that, they're tough. But tough situations give us an opportunity to grow spiritually, so that's why we call them OSGs. Also, if I leave anything out at any point, feel free to jump in. And for those of you that have done this before, you're welcome to kind of throw in thoughts as well. Injuries, sickness, overheated. There will be trainers at every camp, so if there's an injury and they're not at the site that you're at, just call us, we'll get them there. Or it may mean you bringing the kid to the trainer. Be conscious of these kids when they're out in the heat, or even like in the gym, they get overheated. They're not going to want water until they are like dehydrated. Okay, like they're not going to think about it until they're about to pass out. So when we have water breaks, please make sure that they actually go get water. They need the water at the time that we do it. That's why we do it. And so your kid may be like, no, I don't want water, blah blah blah, and then like last year, I remember at Albertville, there was a kid who seriously almost passed out because he was not drinking water when he was supposed to, and so he was having a rough day. Problem child, it happens. Okay, there will be most likely in every huddle, there is one kid that will probably give you an issue. Sometimes you have more than one, and that's even more fun. So just address the problem when you see it. And a lot of times they just want attention. It's really what it is. So address it, pull them aside, say, hey, look, you're a leader. Everybody's looking to you, and you're really acting up in this way, and I need you to lead them because they follow your lead. And so if you're acting up, the rest of the huddle is going to act up. And I want this to be a good time for everybody. So just address that. If you're really having an issue, come to us. Again, there was camps last year where I kind of had to be the bad guy. There was a couple kids that were just not listening to the huddle leaders, and that happens. But don't lose your mind and lose focus on all the other campers just because you got one that's giving you issues. Bathroom. I skipped. Parent shows up. That's important. If a parent shows up, okay, or any adult, if anyone that you see at camp at any point shows up that is not wearing one of these, because all of y'all will get one of these, every staff member, every person who's associated at that camp, you will be able to recognize. If you see somebody walk up that you do not recognize, immediately go address that. Say, hey, will you watch my huddle? I'm gonna go talk to this person. Or if one of us are there, tell one of us, hey, I don't recognize that person, will you go talk to them? But that needs to be addressed before they get close to the kids, and a lot of times it's not a problem. Most of the time, it's like a dad like heard that they're playing football today, it was like the last day, and this kid, you wanna come watch this kid play, sweet. But they do have to go check in at the camp office, get a visitor's pass, and then come back. Or we can go and get one for them. But there are times where parents may be separated or divorced, and this parent is listed as the one that can come and pick them up from camp. The other parent is not, and that parent shows up, and they want their kid because they found out that they were at this camp, and they end up driving off with the kid, and then the mom shows up, and they're like, "Where's my kid?" And we said, "Well, we let them go with their dad. We thought that it was okay." Don't ever do that. Okay. Please check with us. If a parent shows up and there's an issue, just let us know. Just it's better safe than sorry. Honestly, if you see someone, just let one of us know and we'll come handle it. But always address that. Bathroom. Never be alone with a camper in the bathroom. Like Brother Jamie said, so many crazy things happen nowadays that you want to be above reproach, to where like there's not even any evidence to say like to even accuse you of anything crazy. So if your kid goes to the bathroom, it's fine for you to walk them to the bathroom, but just stand outside the door. If there's an issue, just kind of crack the door open and say, "Hey, are you okay?" Just check on them that way, but never ever go to the bathroom, or never let the camper go alone either. It's in huddle time and they want to get up and go to the bathroom. You don't just let them run on their own, because then you never know where they're going. So if a kid really has to go to a bathroom during like a huddle time, just again say, "Hey, well, you watch this huddle. I'm gonna go take this kid to the bathroom. I'll be right back." Okay. Let's see. Or you can call one of us. Say, "Hey, Russ, this kid has to go to the bathroom. Will you take him for me? I'd be glad to do it. Summer staff to do it." Never alone with a kid. Same thing. Never go like around the corner, even if it's like after you present the gospel to them and they want to talk to you about their salvation. Be always in sight of someone else, to where we can see you. If you do have to go somewhere, just come and grab one of us. Say, "Hey, I'm going to be right over here. Will you please just stand in the hallway and watch whatever?" So just never be alone with a kid. No lap sitting. This is usually not an issue with guys. This is girls mostly. So girls will want to come sit in your lap because they think that you're awesome, which is really sweet and great, but at the same time, that can cause some issues. And just, you never know in this day and age, the way the world is just a little crazy. So, just don't let that, the thing is, if you let one do it, then everyone's going to want to do it. So just don't let anyone do it. Let's see, conflict between kids. Again, first instance, just separate them. Just put them on different sides. If it keeps going on, address it, pull them both aside, say, talk to them about it. Keeps going on, come find one of us, and we'll leaders. Matthew 18 approach. Just if there's an issue, go talk to them first. Tell them, whatever happened. Hey, what you said earlier, that really kind of hurt me or offended me, and I don't know if you meant it this way, but this is kind of how I took it. Whatever it is, address it first. If it's still an issue, come find one of us. We'll talk to you. Love to work it out. Witness misbehavior of another huddle leader. Same thing. Kind of approach them first. Say, "Hey, we'll go back to the phone situation. You saw them on their phone. Just go to them and say, 'Hey, I noticed you were on your phone earlier. I'm not trying to be mean, pick on you, whatever, but just please focus on the kids and stay off your phone.'" And it may be that they were, they lost one of their campers and they were letting us know, and that helps you understand that. And so just approach them first, then again come to us. Campers share secrets. This is an important one, Brother Jamie kind of mentioned. If a camper says to you, "Hey, I want to tell you something that I've never told anyone before," or, "Hey, I want to share this secret with you," then you have to tell them from the jump, okay? Say, "Look, I understand if you want to share this with me, but please know before you tell me, if it's something that has anything to do with your harm, I have to share that with somebody. So just know that if it's something serious like that, then I can't keep this to myself. And a lot of times, if it's really that something of that, magnitude, they'll still go ahead and tell you. And then sometimes, they may just, it may not be anything big. Like, I have a crush on this guy, whatever, something small. So, but just let them know in case that happens, because then you don't want them upset if you just say, yeah, tell me. And then they tell you, and you're like, all right, I have to go tell somebody, and they're like, oh, no, I didn't want anyone to know. So that's why you have to tell them first. So, missing camper. Most of the time, it's just miscommunication. This camper went to the wrong sport, whatever it was. That camper actually isn't here today, you just didn't know it. But as soon as you find out, let us know. And if it is, we are in that situation, keep your phone ready, okay? Again, someone will be designated and have that kind of responsibility, but we need to be able to communicate quickly to find this kid, because we will literally shut the whole camp down until we find that kid. So just be aware of that, and also when that's happening, just find ways to entertain your kids. Let's see, we'll get to thunderstorm later, we'll kind of address that. Cheating during games, just don't let them do it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're not there, like Brother Jamie said, not trying to win the national championship. You're there to serve these kids and ultimately build those relationships during that time. Yes, we want them to have fun, but sharing the gospel with them is the most important thing. So don't let them cheat. Talk to them about why we don't cheat during games, about integrity, and that's an opportunity for you to minister to them. Health issues, you'll get a roll of your campers, and it'll say this person has asthma, we have their inhaler, this person has peanut allergies, whatever it is. So you'll have that on your sheet of paper. So with that being said, don't let your entire huddle see that. That may not be information that kid wants you to share with everyone else. So just be aware of those things, and if they tell you of a health issue they have that is not on that paper, please let us know, because we need to know those types of things. When it comes to food allergies or whatever it is, we need to know. Thunderstorm. There are times when it storms, and some of these kids are absolutely terrified of storms, but they will react the way that you react. If you lose your mind and start sprinting towards the closest cover, they're gonna lose their mind. And your job is to just stay as calm as possible. Just walk with them, make sure you have all of them wherever y'all are trying to go, and just hear me please say, they will react the way that you react. Okay, so please stay calm in those situations, because if you lose your mind, they will take that 10 levels past. Okay, and then during those times too, if there's a missing camper or a thunderstorm, think of things that you can do to entertain those kids. There are plenty of games. You can play rock, paper, scissors, split. You can play ninja. You can play the slap game. You can play human knot. There's 100 things to do. So just keep them entertained, because if you don't, then one, if they're terrified of storms, all they're gonna think about is how they're terrified of storms. Two, they're gonna run absolutely wild if you don't keep them entertained. So we're good there on OSGs. Any questions so far? Any of that? Good? All right. Day one goals. Know each of their names. Pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully you know their name by the time they come back. One thing that helps is if you know somebody, this is something that I was taught. I'm terrible with names, so this helps me very much. Say this kid's name is Peyton. Okay, if I want to remember Peyton, I look at that kid, think of Peyton Manning. It helps. I don't know. It helps. It's just if you have a best friend named Sarah, and you got Sarah in your huddle. See that kid? All right, Sarah. Boom, got it. Whatever you need to do to help yourself remember their names, because that goes a long way to them. That they think that's the coolest thing if you just remember their name. So make that an effort, and then respect. Teach them about respect and just respecting you, but also respect them, because if they don't see that you respect them, then they won't respect you. Clarify rules and regulations, which are have fun, stay safe, and be successful. So we'll go over each of those every day, but just clarify those rules. You know, talk to them. Hey, we keep our hands to ourselves. All these different things. Car line is crazy. At times, like if you don't watch your campers at all times and you don't walk them to the car, and I know it's hard, but if you have to take this camper, walk into the car, you come back and none of your kids are there. So like it happens. So you have to find them and keep up with them the best you can, but just make sure that you have eyes on them, because if you don't, then they could be running in the road, and we don't want anything terrible like that to happen. And then meet the parents when you walk them to their car, just especially first day. That's very important. It kind of gives the parents peace of mind to know, okay, this person is, you know, taking care of my kid, and I trust them. But just walk them to the car, say, hey, Miss Johnson, thank you so much for allowing Nick to come to camp today. I really enjoyed hanging with him, and we're excited for him to come back tomorrow. Something like that. Doesn't have to be a super long conversation. Know the theme verse. This year it's like 3 verses. So,
Is that holding it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is, I think.
It is.
Hello.
So, study that day and night until you get it. No. This year is a little bit longer. So, but try and know that best you can. And at least know what the verses are. Okay? Like Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 through 20. At least know that. The bridge, we will go over that in just a second. Kid focused, talked about that. And then this is just a personal challenge for yourself. Try to know 3 facts about each kid. Maybe that's like your icebreaker when they first get there. All right, tell me your favorite color, your favorite movie, and your favorite color Skittle. Whatever it is. I don't know. All right, something like that. It's a valid question.
I mean, all the colors you like is,
Yeah,
what if you're colorblind?
that's tough. that changes things. He's colorblind. Anyways, all right.
Next question.
Any questions? Next question. So I don't get fined. Any questions? We good? All right. Let's open up these Bibles real quick to the very front. We're gonna go to the Power Boost. All right. So, let me find it.
Make sure you mention typos.
What?
Make sure you mention all the typos.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of typos in here, so
Just be ready.
A lot.
just prepare yourself. So page 27 is the first Power Boost. So these are what we'll go over in the morning devotionals. So when they first get to camp, I'm going to kind of walk you through a normal camp day before we do this. They first get to camp, it's called quiet time. All right, so they get there, you have them all sitting there. And a lot of times you'll show them like one of the passages. So like day 1, get them to read, you know, it says the workout is Acts 1:8 or Psalm 86:9. Get them to read like Psalm 86. Whatever it is, just to get them there. But also teach them, hey, like, this is important. You have a quiet time, spend time in the Word with God in the mornings, and just dedicate this time to Him. And this is a good habit to have. So kind of explain to them what that is, the importance of it. So quiet time when we first get there, then we'll have a warm-up, we do some exercises, get their blood pumping, and then we do the Power Boost. So this is what the Power Boost is, starting on 27. Read these the night before at least. So you can have an idea, because sometimes we're like, hey, we're running short on time, you got 3 minutes for Power Boost. You're not going to have time to read every word of this. And it's good to get your campers involved too. Say, hey, you know, Nick, do you want to read the verse up top to start us out? Sweet, yeah, read that. And then kind of paraphrase through the set if you need to, and then ask them those questions. And so that's the Power Boost time. And then we'll go from there to worship in the morning, and then someone will give a talk, and then we'll go to sport time. If you're working at Albertville is different than all the other ones. Okay, so Albertville, they pick 2 sports. At all the other camps, they choose 1 sport, and then we have competition in the afternoon. But at Albertville, they do 2 sports. So they'll go 1 sport in the morning, which will also be on your sheet. You should know what sport they're going to, I think.
They usually have like a sticker on them at least.
They have a sticker on them or something.
says,
You should know where they're supposed to go. And then you'll go to sport, come back, we'll have So, at the other camps, it's, you know, similar, but instead of doing a second sport in the afternoon, we have competition where we do all kinds of different things. And, you know, we'll have the junior high inside while the senior high is doing competition, and then we switch, and then come back. So that is that's kind of a quick breakdown of how the day goes. But, so in the morning, walking through these power boosts, you know, day 1, day 2 is on page 28, all that stuff, but please read it the night before, highlight what you need to, find those typos, and, you know, cause they're gonna probably think it's the funniest thing in the world. So just kind of prepare them, say, hey, there's a typo here. So, but do it the night before if you can, so you at least have an idea of what you're gonna be talking about, what you can share. So yeah, that's the power boost. Connor, anything else on that? T-Dog, any other thoughts on the power boost?
When it comes to the typos, go ahead and address it with the kids, because if not, the kids are gonna be like, oh my gosh, there's a typo. Okay, they're gonna like make a big deal out of it, and it's gonna like interrupt. And so if you like go into it and like you already know where the typos are, kind of, if you wanted to, you could like maybe, if you have time before, you can either like go into their Bibles and mark through it, or just address it from the beginning. Say, hey, I already know that there's a typo in here. Not everyone needs to know, so.
Last year when I tried this, it saved a massive disaster and it all fell apart, so I'm glad they're just sticking together. I'm still nervous until I get to my spot. Alright, so that is the power boost, so be prepared for the power boost. For the bridge, okay, so I mentioned, we'll go over the bridge. So this is basically our way to present the gospel to the kids, okay? And we would like for you to know this as best you can. We'll also go over each part every single day, starting in the morning before camp. So we'll say, all right, today's day 1, so this is what you go over. And if you really feel uncomfortable sharing it, then we can pair you with an intern, or if you need one of us to come help, we can come and help. But know this as best you can, because if you can present it yourself, it's awesome. And it's also just good for you to know, because then you can use it, you know, even outside of camp. So, let's see. So basically we got here, and I'm not an artist. I'm gonna go ahead and warn you now. All the interns already started hating on me during camp. So we got God's game plan. Okay? Equals a relationship. This board is not very straight. So we want to explain to them first that God desires a relationship with us, right? And so that is the first part. Make that clear. God's game plan for us is a relationship. And when He created the world, God's original plan. Also, this song is a little bit older now, so hopefully it's worn off on these kids, and they won't think that that's the funniest thing in the world. Okay?
I would do one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So we got love Him, glorify Him, and enjoy Him forever. All right. So this is God's original plan, and then there's the scripture, and this is normally in the front of these Bibles.
It's got the new 4. Yeah.
Now they got the 4, which is basically the same thing, but it just doesn't have a visual breakdown for you like the ones have in the past.
Still use the scripture.
Yeah, still use scripture, and we can give you different scripture like the day of, like in the morning.
Well, it's in the Bible, like where the 4.
Oh, it is.
with
It
the-
is.
There's like
Yeah.
a couple of scriptures like with each one.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
So yeah.
that's still
Page
there.
6, that's awesome. Yes, you can use those different parts of scripture to help you explain different things. Love Him, and you can explain what that means. Glorify Him, and that's important to explain what that means. Because even a lot of people, when I was your age, I really didn't understand what glorify meant. That was just like a word that was used in church a lot, and I was like, oh yeah, like glorify Him in everything I do. But really, I didn't know what that meant. So glorify Him basically just means to honor and respect Him with everything that we do. So kind of try and break that down for them because that's just a word that some of them may be used to, but they truly don't know what it means. So this is day one. This is all that you teach in day one. Day two is man's problem. All right. Man's problem. All right. So man's problem was caused by sin, right? So we'll put sin down here because it caused separation. Also, separation spelled with an A right there. One of our interns started joking on somebody else for spelling it with an A, thinking it was an E. It's not E. It's actually an A. So, just so we know. All right. Separation, death, judgment. Okay. Now, if you have a younger group, death can be a little bit of an issue. Some of them think that that is like super scary, which is understandable as a small child thinking about death. So you can go a lot deeper with it with an older group than you can with younger. So first of all, separation. This separates us from God's plan. So we got a little person right here, right? So we're stuck on this side because of sin, right? And we can't get across that gap because of sin. And so that caused separation from God, caused death. You can share for the wages of sin is death with them. And then judgment. So explain to them after we die, we will face judgment in heaven. And so without anything to get us there, we can't make it back, right? And so, but if you come back tomorrow, then I'll explain to you the best news that there is, right? So you kind of end each day with that. So after day one, you say, well, when we come back tomorrow, we're going to talk about a problem that kept us away from God's plan. So you go through that, and then you explain too. Well, I guess you can do this more in day three. All right, so this is the part where everybody's getting on my head. I'm not an artist, so let's see what I can do. Still not great, but I'm working on it. So day three, right? So day three is the best day to get to share that Jesus came and died for us. So put Jesus right here, and He is our Lord and Savior. Okay, so a lot of people they want to accept Jesus as their Savior because they just want to spend eternity in heaven, or they're scared of hell, or whatever it is. But they don't truly allow Him to be the Lord of their life, and explain to them what it means to allow Christ to be the Lord of our lives. And so show them, hey, without the cross, all of our works are just filthy rags, right? You may say, well, how do we get back across? You may ask them this in day two without the cross, or how do we get back across? Well, I go to church every Sunday. Oh, that doesn't get us there. Well, I read my Bible every day. Oh, well, that doesn't get us there. Or, I was baptized when I was 6. Well, all of the things that we do ourselves will never get us there. So make it clear to them that it is only because of Jesus that He makes a way for us to get back to God's original plan. And just really emphasize that to them. And tell them, though, don't let them think that oh, so I'm not supposed to read my Bible? No, that's not it at all. That's a good thing. Say, those are great things, but they don't earn you a relationship with God, right? The only thing that allows us to have a relationship with God is the death of Jesus on the cross for us, and Him being risen from the grave 3 days later. Okay, so explain that to them, and just walk them through that. Really emphasize the fact that it is not our own works, but it is the work of Jesus on the cross. And so that's day 3, right? Just the opportunity for them to respond. So if you're looking at the 4 outline in there, it's kind of, so we've got these 2, which y'all all get, I'm sure. I think we talked about that. So it's basically God's love, sin separates us, then there's the cross, and then what's their response, right? That's what the question mark is for. So day 4 is about the response. And in order to accept Jesus into our heart, right, we must, and it's the ABCs, right? So break it down for them. A, B, C's, right? Admit, okay? Admit that we're a sinner. Admit that we needed a Savior to make a way back to God's original plan, that we can't do it on our own. We need Jesus. Admit that we're a sinner. Admit that we need Him. Believe that He is who He said He is. And believe that He came and died for us, and that He is the way. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And not just intellectual belief, right? But belief so much that it leads to action, that it leads to commitment, right? And that's the C. Commit. So, admit, believe, commit. And then that is how we have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And then, so that's day 4. So you kind of walk them through that. And each day, by the way, I meant to say this. So each day, so like say day 2, you'll go back and you may cover up this right here. Say, all right, who wants to walk me through day 1? You know, what was God's plan? Hopefully you can do a better job than I am. So you try and get them to say, love and glorify and joy forever, right? And then you walk them through day 2. Day 3, say, all right, so, and just try and walk them step by step through each thing again. So then by the time you get back to this, you review it all over again, just so we're clear. And another thing too, we never want to guilt trip them into it. Okay, we want genuine commitments to Christ. So we don't want to do, all right, everybody bow your heads, and you know, if you accept Him, raise your hand. You can, because then you got kids peeking and they see their friends do it, and right? And so, you know, you walk them through this, and then you can talk to them after, and you know, say, or just wait till Friday. Honestly, you can wait till Friday, because Friday is the day that we do follow up with them. So you can say, hey, for any of you that you know want to commit your life to Christ and you know made that decision yesterday, go with this group of people, and they're going to help you on your next steps in your faith. So that is the bridge. And so day 1 goals. That's why it says God's plan on there. So you walk them through God's plan, the day 1 goals. All right. So that's the bridge. And do the best you can, but it's really helpful that you have this in front of your Bible now. That kind of helps you walk through each of it. So, but again, if you don't feel comfortable with it, we'll have people to kind of join with you, whatever it may be. But we'll go over it every single morning. You know, day 1 of camp, we'll go over God's plan. Day 2, we'll go over man's problem, just so you're refreshed on it and ready to present that to your kids. Let's see. I think that's it. Am I leaving anything out? Anything?
I think that's good. Any
All right.
questions?
Yeah. Do y'all have any questions?
Like any at all?
What are we supposed to like bring to camp?
Good question. So, you probably want a backpack to carry your stuff around. Water bottle.
Pins.
Rain
Pins.
jacket.
Yeah, rain jacket.
Rain jacket. Check the weather. If you need a rain jacket. Hat if you want one. Yes.
Like swim shorts if you're doing a swimming class.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
Or
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, that's a good point. Whatever sport you're participating in, bring whatever's necessary for that sport. So if it's swimming, bring a swimsuit. You know, if it's baseball, bring your glove if you need it. Whatever it is. Be prepared to lead that sport.
And they find out like the Monday, like before camp starts, what sport they're gonna do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you are swimming too, you don't have to actually swim. You just stand on the side and cheer them on. Yeah, so. And with that being said too, we'll do the best we can to get you in the sport that you do, but have a good attitude, please, in whatever sport you do. Don't complain to us like, man, I've never played baseball in my life. Well, that's fine. Act like you're the best baseball player in the world out there, and just be confident and help them, encourage them. Do the best you can, because we're going to do the best we can to get you in whatever sport you do. But at the end of the day, if we got 6 campers and just 1 huddle leader over there, they may need some help. All right, and we don't need 6 huddle leaders over here when there's only 10 kids in that sport, right? So just please be flexible with that too, and work with us there. oh, for those of you in Albertville, going to Albertville camp, I know y'all live there, so you can just meet us there. But for those of you who don't, yeah, you're Douglas too, so you just meet us there. For those of you coming from Huntsville or Madison or whatever you're coming from, we will meet here. Monday, I think we'll meet at 6. All the rest of the days we meet at 6:15 and take a van, so you won't have to drive. Just ride with us. So yeah, and then we'll take the van back, and we should be back here 5-ish, 5:30-ish. So yeah, y'all can keep those Bibles, and if you have any friends too that would want to come and serve, we can absolutely, all the help that we can get.
Especially guys.
Yeah, especially guys. So guys are always the tough ones to get. You girls are awesome. Y'all are just servants and y'all are the bomb. But us guys, we're slackers. So shout out to you guys for stepping up, right? And if you feel absolutely uncomfortable leading a huddle by yourself, let us know. Like if you just don't think you can do it at all. But you know, I think you'll be fine. Especially we'll walk alongside you the first couple of days. But if you do, you know, have a preferred age group, I mean, you can let us know this information, but just know, hey, I'd like to have 8-year-olds and I play soccer. You may get stuck with 9-year-olds and you're doing basketball. Like we'll do the best we can, but like don't get super upset if we can't make it happen. Okay?
I'll do football, Dad.
Yeah, there you go. Knock somebody out.
Make sure you bring your Bibles to camp, of course.
Put me as a middle one.
Like that's one thing you need. Like 'cause we won't have
Yeah.
a ton of extra stuff.
So have your Bibles with you. Yeah. So I think that's all we got. Any other questions?
When do we get our shirt?
You'll get your shirts the day of, first day of camp.